Yo, how's everyone doing? I wanted to make a video on a certain topic. I wanted to rank the DLC characters based on their strength upon their release. Obviously, there's characters here that are not DLC, and there's base roster characters. Ignore them. I'm not going to be ranking those characters. Only DLC characters. This is inspired actually by King Africa. He made a post talking about what characters he thought were the strongest, where he ranked them, and a bunch of other people gave their thoughts, and it was a cool discussion to see. And it's something I didn't really think about. Even now, it's something I haven't thought too much about. Kind of playing on the fly, but I have an idea, and from someone that's been playing the game for a while, I remember talking and ranking the characters among my with some other friends and whatnot, and even playing the characters, getting a general idea for their strength. So I want to talk about my opinions and where I think some of these characters go. I think the universal opinion, like absolute universal opinion, like no one will ever disagree with this, is Happy Chaos is in like, I don't even know what to call the tier. We'll just call him like the GOAT tier. Like literally no character in this game will be as strong as his character was. Like he one of the strongest fighting game characters of all time. Like broken. No one will be. In fact, this will probably be a blank tier to show the gap in strength. Like this character, he was so broken that the reason he is gonna be probably have his own tier and a space between the next character is because his game plan was extremely overpowered and it universally worked across the whole cast. One game plan being so strong that you don't need to change it up and no character has any counterplay to it is a ban. Like this character is a ban character. Like greatest of all time. Like no one will argue. Like I don't care if you play Happy Chaos and you are like, well now it doesn't matter. I'm referring to the release strength of the character when they first got implemented into the game. This character was by far the strongest. Like not even close. Like oh my gosh, dude, this character is so broken. I made a video on why people hate Happy Chaos, and if you haven't checked that out yet, then go check it out. You'll see why. Anyways, next is actually going to be Asuka. So this character was very undiscovered, and he is actually making me want to put him here, but dang, this character is just so weird. Okay, so let me talk about Asuka. So on release, he was pretty undiscovered, and it honestly took until Gobo to, like, when Gobo started playing the character, he was the person that discovered, like, going to test case 3 and, looping, test case 3 and whatnot, and using the super, like, to your advantage, getting the spells you want, and, getting Exodia, stuff like that, right? Gobo figured out, like, the flowchart of test case 3, the reroll, test case 3, win con, whatever, right? And, he showed that you should never use test case 2, and then how to, go from test case 1 to 3 effectively. And again, the character was undiscovered. I remember I even at one point had a doubt about the character, but it was for a very, very short moment. This character was broken. This character was to the point that, it was, you block a cube and it actually felt like the game was, like, dead. Happy Chaos's game plan, okay, so Happy Chaos's game plan didn't evolve around RNG, where this character, his game plan evolved around RNG. So essentially, you stand full screen, you guard crush zone. You stand full screen, you fucking projectile or object zone, because they're not projectiles, they're considered objects. But like you basically, let's just say you do the same thing as Happy Chaos. It's just yours was based on RNG. And sometimes, I guess, the RNG, other characters could take advantage of you having bad RNG more than others, I guess, right? So that's the reason why Asuka isn't here. But he could easily be here or here. It really depends on how you think. But he's definitely in one of these two tiers. And no one else is in that tier with him. No other DLC characters. I think this is the reason why every other technical character, or I guess I think this is the reason that technical characters, they release Venom and he is so bad because they're scared to remake something close to these characters. Especially projectile zoner or whatever, right? Like they just are really, really scared to make these characters anywhere close to these two fellas actually just made the game so unfun. Especially this guy, dude. Oh my gosh, he made the game so unfun, dude. but I mean, obviously these two characters have received so many nerfs, but again, that's not what this video is about. This fella actually is like in the bottom 5 now, which is so funny, considering he was actually like, he was so undiscovered. I mean, he felt even better low-key at 3.0 sometimes because, you know, you had the wildest hard knockdown. So you wildest hard knockdown, and then you would just, you know, save the bar and then go into whatever you wanted with, you know, the super and whatnot. Yeah, dude, this character was actually just checkmate city. And also, one thing you have to remember too is back in season 2 when he dropped, the burst wasn't full screen. So these two characters were like, these two characters, including Zato, were the most burst safe characters like in the game. So I think the next strongest DLC character on release is probably Slayer. But here's the thing. Okay, I'm gonna do like the gaps are big, like IMO. Slayer was really good. And I'm also gonna put Abba in this tier. Oh, whoa, that's Ram. What the hell? Put Abba in this tier as well. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Abba. I think Slayer. Okay, so looking back at Slayer, I think he was really, really, really good. Like really good. But he still had some flaws. I think his flaws now are more exploitable and they're more clear. But the thing with Slayer is, like, okay, he has bad defense, right? Before, like, he is meant to have bad defense, but before he had like super PRC and he had a reversal, so, you know, with the reversal with that. And so, you know, and his neutral was supposed to be bad, but 2H was so good because the recovery didn't feel really existent. It felt like, in fact, maybe I'll put Slayer here, I'll move Abba down. I will have to see. But, you know, the idea was, okay, well, I want to dash block at Slayer. But if you dash block at Slayer, then you're, you know, you're going to him and then you're playing inside the range that he wants to play with you at, right? And then there was if you back up and then, like, you know, try to avoid Mop Punch, then you're just giving up space, right? So it was really hard to approach him, it felt, and the risk ward was so screwed, like, in his favor, that a lot of times it just felt like a lot of options were just so, like, it just felt hopeless a lot of the times, depending on who you played. Now, this character, he did lose matchups, so he wasn't a perfect character. You know, Mappa is obviously debatable, like, depending on who you ask, it was either really, really broken or it was like, meh. Some people thought P Mappa was better than K Mappa, so the shorter version was better than, like, the longer version, right? It just depends on who you ask, but me personally, I mean, you still have, the counterplay now is still the old counterplay, like, you still throw Master's Hammer, you can backdash Master's Hammer, right? You know, his offense is still, back then was still pretty, like, RPS heavy, even with, like, it was, his offense without meter has always had issues, you know, and it still does to this day. So, I mean, he's always had flaws. He just insane damage output. He just really fit what the game, like, what Guilty Gear is. He is a Guilty Gear character. Like, he's easy, you know, very, very easy, very, very easy to pick up. Extreme, like, just so much damage, like, crazy, crazy damage. Low reward, just, like, off 2 hits, you do, like, 60%. So, I mean, he's a Guilty Gear character, but I don't think he's perfect. And yeah, I don't think he's perfect. There's some people that might say Slayer was like here, which is just not true. It's just not. Yeah, these two characters are like around the same IMO. Abba. So let me talk about Abba. Dude, do I want to put Abba here? Okay, for the sake of the video, I will do this, and then I will do like this. I think these two characters are on their own island, and then I'll put Abba here. Abba, I'll label Slayer as like, okay, if Happy Chaos is like LeBron, then like Asuka is like Luka, bro. Like, okay, wait, actually, no, I won't. I'll just put like Jordan. No, I'll just put Kobe. All right, and then I'll have like very, very strong. I'll put like top tier, and then I'll put like very strong. Actually, do I want Slayer in the top tier? I'll put him there for now. I could change the name of the tier, but he was very, very, very good. I'll just put him as, I guess I'll put him maybe top tier. He was there. I'll put Abba as very strong. Okay, so let me talk about Abba now. Abba was, so I actually was one of the people that went to Arc Tour. So I got to play the character before she actually released to everybody. And even the players that got to play the character like in the you know, the player room, from what I was hearing, they were saying that the character was like not that great. And the people that were playing the character were saying that she was not that great, but like have to give her time and whatnot, right? She released, and for like the first day or two, people thought she was like trash. And then people started to come around to how like good she was. Like, you know, you had Gobo saying the character was very good, and the reason why that she was discovered to be very good is because, oh my gosh, dude. Okay, so the hop kick, like the hop move, right? People were starting to see the potential of that move. It gave like full combos on hit, on counter hit. Like, you know, it was like what, minus like 2, minus 1, right? She had a 4-frame mash. Her K normals were insane. Like people were seeing how strong Jealousy Rage was, and the hop, like the overhead and Jealousy Rage was like going over like things like Beat Driver and like, you know, slash normals, right? Damage crazy, cash out super, 10, I believe she has a 10-frame reversal, or maybe it's 11, but she has a reversal, or I mean, she still does to this day. Reversal. They found out about like the Jealousy Rage like meter refund that you could do. Right, like there's a whole bunch of stuff with this character that people were finding out. You know, they were finding uses for her command dash, like the special move. Like there was a lot of stuff to be discovered with this character, and you know, she just proved to be very, very strong. She beat a lot of characters. She destroyed characters like Milia. She beat characters like Geo. She had a parry, but the parry was a little more situational, you know. But yeah, no, this character was very, very good. From what I remember, yeah, Milia, Faust, characters like Testament, right? Like that. She did very well into. Yeah, no, Jealousy Rage was extremely dumb. Like, she moved as fast, or like faster than Chip. Her jump was crazy. Her arrow normals were crazy. She had fuzzies, like meterless fuzzies, like, you know, full combos on hit from everything, hard knockdown on everything. Like, character was just absurd, dude. She's gotten nerfed to, you know, she's now a little nerfed. She's definitely worse, but she's still very strong. And Jealousy is still just as strong as ever, you know, if not stronger than it was before. She actually has flaws in her normal mode now, because her normal mode before was a little too strong for how strong Jealousy was. Now it's her normal mode is somewhat justifies Jealousy, even though I think Jealousy is still just too. Dude, I think Jealousy is so broken, but you know, she's in a better spot. But point is, on release, she was some bullshit. So I'll put her there. Now we're gonna get into lower tiers. Let me first. I'll just do this. I'll put season 4. I'm gonna put these two characters together. Okay, so Venom and Dizzy, realistically, there's characters that are actually worse than these characters, like, on release. So, like, for example, I'll put them... Okay, actually, I won't call it Season 4, because, yeah, there's probably characters in the same tier as them. But, let me put them back. Let me start off by saying, like, characters that are just good. Like, just good characters. So, just good characters, yeah. We will do... Okay, actually, I'm going to move Gold Lewis here, too. I'm going to move Gold Lewis here. I think Gold Lewis was good. Gold Lewis was the... So, okay, Gold Lewis on release, he's okay. So, he's always had good offense throughout this game's lifespan. His offense is not the issue. The issue with Gold Lewis before is he had some of the worst neutral in the game. Like, his neutral is not great now, but he has White Walled Assault, right? And, you know, Laser Super is better than it was before. Like, you know, things like Drone and Minigun being better. Like, you know, his neutral is now, like, really just... And also JD is better. But before, he didn't have any of that. And JD was worse than what it is now, I believe. And, you know, just bad neutral. His Far Slash was also just a lot worse than it was at its prime. You know, 2S was a lot worse. 2K was a lot worse. 6P was useless. Like, his neutral was just terrible. But he had good offense. But Gold Lewis has always had good offense. And we've seen characters in this game with a lot of flaws, but they have good offense slapped on top of it, so they're able to be, like, not at the worst. You know, FD was worse than it was before. So, you know, it was actually better for Gold Lewis. for his offense. But he was kind of undiscovered, and I think it actually took a while for people to learn like the correct sequencing of the BTs and how you should run your pressure depending on this spacing and this, and what you should go into from this and this, and how you should, it was a lot more, like, if you look at old Gold Lewis gameplay, you'd be like, oh my gosh, like, no one knows how to fight him, he's just swinging the coffin, but, like, you look now and it's a lot more, like, in order. So, very undiscovered. If we knew what we knew now and went back then obviously, like, you can maybe make a case for this character being better. But his neutral was just so bad, dude. It's so bad. But again, good offense. So I will put him in this tier because, like, in a bit, like, we know what he had back then, how it fit into the game. Just no one could really show it off. Gobo did a bit, but I mean, Gold Lewis has, he has definitely advanced with the time. So it looks a lot more clean. The gameplay looks a lot more cleaner than it does back then. Okay, now we have mid. So these are just mid characters. Oh geez, where do I start? Okay, I'm gonna go Elfelt, Bikin. Actually, no, probably not Bikin. Bikin was maybe just Elfelt, to be honest, dude. Because, like, okay, the thing with Elfelt, in my opinion, is, so this is actually kind of similar to King Africa's. I think we both have Elfelt in just mid. This character, okay, so the bomb vest was obviously not really a thing, but this character was super easy. They're, obviously they kind of just hit you. Like, they hit you, but there wasn't too much, like, punishment for getting hit. Now you get hit and it's like, oh shit, like, this could lead to this and this, but the character's neutral was pretty bad, right? They buffed a bunch of things about her, later on, but her neutral was pretty bad. Her specials weren't as good as they are now. Supers, like the bomb vest, like I mentioned, right? I mean, this character was also just, like, felt so 6P'able and so, like, weak to DPs. But now they have Orange Water Soul, it helps them a lot more. And obviously like I've said, they've received so many buffs. But again, speaking on release, I'll just put them as mid. They were super annoying. They had some good tools, but they just had a bunch of flaws to go with it. Where now, talking about some of these characters, I guess you could also make an argument for characters like Jacko, Jacko's not mid. She was definitely, like, on the lower end as well. Bikin too. Bikin was also pretty trash. Yeah, unfortunately, Bikin was also pretty bad. But if I wanted to be generous, I think you could also put characters like, okay, I will just, I'll do this. I'll make this tier called not great. There we go. And I'll put Johnny here too. Where's Johnny? Where'd I just put him? Okay, Johnny. Oh my gosh, this character was, okay, so here's the thing with Johnny. So he is a character that had a 18 frame dash, and during the dash you cannot block, right? It's 15 frames now. But he also has a dash jump, where on Johnny release with the 18 frame dash did not have a dash jump. So when you dashed, you were committed to the dash, right? Also, because the dash was 18 frames, so when you do your Oki, so you throw the card, you do the card pop, close slash was not gapless. So if you wanted to stay gapless, you had to do 2K. Also, KMF was shorter, so his neutral was worse on top of having a committal dash. He just far slash 5H always whiffed. Literally always whiffed. So many times off using your far slash, you couldn't actually get, like, confirm your hits, and then you just end up minus on hit and get punished. Like, it was really, really bad. Like, this character was not great. But he had really good like, regardless of, whatever, he had good offense. He used Orange Wall Assault, saved him. Like, this character was on life support with Orange Wall Assault, but thankfully he came out during a time where Orange Wall Assault was at its peak, so him using it kind of saved him, where he, obviously without it he would be lower, but he used Orange Wall Assault well. Like, Orange Wall Assault and the, like, TK Misfinder being gapless was good. He still had the overheads and whatnot, overhead RCs, still had some good spacing traps for some characters. Again, now it's better, but before it was not as great. But he still had, like, some of the things that still make him Johnny today. He just is, like, 6K, still the 9 frame far slash. 9 frame far slash was Orange Water Soul is just crazy. Still good Oki, DP, safe at, not as DP safe net, like, as he is now, but, you get the point. high health, high HP, which is good. High HP is really, really important. Didn't have great defense though, unfortunately, but had a great backdash. And then he still had Vault RC, which is still to this day one of the best metered options in this game. So not great character, but he was fine. Any other character I want to put in this tier? Okay, I'll put low key. I put like okay, I'll do this. I'm also in these tiers. I'm also gonna put these two characters. I think Jacko and Bikin were just not great. I don't think they were necessarily like trash, but they just were not great. Bikin, oh my gosh, dude. For someone that it's okay, I want to speak on these characters more. But these are the two characters I know the least about during their release. I was playing the game. Obviously, I was not as informed as I am now. But these two characters just were just not great. They were not great. They weren't able to execute their game plans that well. Bikin, obviously, has always been a good defensive character, but everywhere else she kind of lacked. Her combos were just inconsistent. Like, Bikin has always had that flaws of just or had the flaw of inconsistent combos, and on top of just being not great everywhere else, just was not great. Not a great character. Jacko, dude, I remember Jacko before she used to start the round with no minion gauge. That was hilarious, dude. But yeah, Jacko just was not great, dude. Terrible defense, like very, very prone to spacing traps, worse frame data, like everything. That character is a whole different character now. Same with Bikin, obviously, like with Guard Crush Parry and whatnot. But I mean, yeah, these two characters were not great, but they were fine. Sadly, I didn't get to fight against these characters too much during the time because they were both dropped pretty quickly. Bikin was just played by a bunch of like gooners in tower who like, you know, weren't actually there to learn the character. But yeah, again, Jacko being a technical character, people kind of gave up pretty quick. Even though she was, what, the second DLC character? Right? Was it second? I believe it was. Now we can talk about just like the trash characters. Trash. Like actual just terrible characters. Start with Dizzy. Dizzy was trash. Yeah, Dizzy was trash. I mean, okay, look, like I've said this before, maybe in another version, Dizzy could be like here. But the thing is, when the version she dropped in, like, damage was crazy. Damage was crazy. HP on characters crazy. You know, it was, you know, so much like everyone was converting off. Like the power level of the game was just really high. You know, and it still is currently. I guess it's not is. Like power level of the game is just really high, and she just didn't fit in. Like she had some good things. Like her fireball was a projectile, so. You know, her main way to run offense on block was with that, but now it's a strike. Obviously, it was more gimmicky. It wasn't great, but, you know, it was still better than it is currently. The ice floor was just trash. Like, I mean, ice floor is still trash. Like, this character really hasn't received, like, help like that. I mean, she just is in the wrong version of the game. Like, she kind of reminds me of Venom. Like, both the Season 4 characters, I'll put Venom here, like, Venom is worse than this character, by the way. I think Venom is horrible. Dog shit character. Useless character. Don't play him. He is terrible. Like, actually utter garbage character. He just, like, both these characters are, like, imagine, okay, this is how it feels. Imagine if the devs one day were like, hey, we are going to drop two characters because we want to shape the game in their direction of lower damage and whatnot. So we're going to drop them in this terrible patch and see how it goes. And let us know if you know, they're any good, right? Like, and then they dropped them and they were just like both just like garbage. They both do, their damage is pretty low. Terrible off confirming their hits. I mean, bad at anti-airing, terrible. Like some good neutral buttons, but leading to nothing. Low damage, like both like two of the lowest damage characters, with Venom being the lowest damage character in the game. Like, not great counter hit. Like, Venom has no counter hit special moves, dude. Like, he can't make you care. Like, you know, they're just, oh my gosh, just inconsistent characters. Just inconsistent. Offense leads to terrible, compared to other characters in this game, just terrible reward. Pokes, like I've said, leave the not great reward. Like Venom and I see rage in my eyes whenever I talk about Venom. I'm just so sad how trash he is, dude. But yeah, no, both these characters just are not great characters. Then you have Bedman. Oh my gosh, Bedman was trash, dude. Bedman was trash, and I know King Africa thinks this character was unplayable garbage. I remember I was in my college dorm. I was a freshman, and you know, I was streaming one night, and just in my dorm. and I think I had around like 30 people watching, 35 people watching me or something. And then Diaphone raids me. And this is like a week after Bedman being out. Diaphone tried playing an attorney. He's been playing sets as the character. And he joins, and he's like, yo, hey, have a good stream, bro. I'm logging off for tonight. And I was like, whoa, wait, before you go, like, what are your thoughts on Bedman, bro? And he's like, dude, this character is so trash. I can send you my matchup chart right now. He DM'd me his matchup chart, and literally every character in losing. Like, every character in losing. This character did not beat or go even with one character. Like, every character was just running over Bedman. I mean, he was, like, everything had gaps in it. Like, he just couldn't do anything. He was a zoner that couldn't zone, and he was bad in the air, and he felt laggy, he felt slow, and he was a big body and terrible neutral. Like, it was just bad, dude. Low damage, terrible. Like, no, dude, he had no confirm from his speed normals because they were a lower attack level. Like, this character was terrible. He was trash. I'm still currently friends with Chaos, and I mean, every time like you bring up old Bedman around him, like he'll just start crying, bro. Like this character was terrible. I believe King Africa, who was also like the DLC Taurus guy, he picked up Bedman and had to drop him because he was just so bad. So, you know, maybe Venom's not that bad because he hasn't driven King Africa to that point. But yeah, no, this character's terrible. Next, Bridget was also just not great. Or no, I'm sorry, this character was also just bad. I won't lie, this character was pretty bad. She got reworked. Okay, so here's how I remember Bridget. So Bridget was just, you know, a bad character. And then before Frosty, when Tempest won it and Latif got second, they like giga reworked buff Bridget and just made her crazy. And she shot up from like trash to like top tier or like high, like in the higher realm of, you know, characters. And it was crazy. This character before actually just did not do anything. And low damage, you know. Lower damage back then was fine, but she just didn't have anything else going for. Like, none of her tools were working. Let's see. Sin. Sin's next. Okay, so Sin. This character, so this is the character I made now. Character was terrible. He had so many flaws. So, okay. Elk Hunt and Hoof Stomp were not the same frame. So his offense was a lot worse. Also, his offense, he's been reworked obviously in season 4. Before Sin, he actually was not plus on like any of his stuff besides Elk Hunt. If you wanted plus frames, you had to go into Elk Hunt. Now you can do like the overhead and the follow-up into the dash and be plus, or like beat driver follow-up is just +6 like on the fly, right? You know, no, you had to go into Elk Hunt, but Elk Hunt was 25 frames, so he was very easy to just throw. You just throw him. It was obviously easier to see as well. It's pretty limited to like getting his offense going, right? Because you kind of had to run it through Elk Hunt. Now it's more divided into his kit, so you can kind of just go into like whatever you wanted. He also got no combos or anything like on his moves like that, so he was more meter dependent, and he relied on card cancels, kind of like Chip. He relied on card cancels once you land your hits. The issue is, and one of the biggest buffs he got in season 3 was he didn't have to use a stamina bar for a card cancel. That wasn't the case before. You had 3 stamina bars, and you had to use a stamina bar to cancel a special move into a super. So yeah, that was horrible. 5H was lower attack level as well. His worst backdash in this game's lifespan, dude. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no. Meter dependent, worse. I mean, still had, and then on top of this, he also still had some of like the same flaws. Like, so, oh, also, yeah, his super was a 1-frame link, so you didn't get the clean hit often. It was more rare. And then obviously he still had the flaws of terrible anti-airs, terrible air normals. Like now obviously his power level is a lot higher, so those flaws don't matter as much. But when you're already trashing in the bottom, like you don't want any more flaws. So having those was just unfortunate. But yeah, no, this character was horrible, dude. Yeah, let's see. Next is the last character. Testament. So this is like the worst DLC they've ever put out. Like, this character was useless, bro. This character was actually just so trash. Okay, so some of the things with Testament that they had Okay, to start off, they had no disjoints. They had no disjoints. It was, oh man, what a dark time. Or good time. I hate this character now. I think this character now is like busted as hell, so the fact that they used to be unplayable garbage puts a smile on my face. So 6H, I believe, used to not hard knockdown, and it was 25 frames instead of 23, I believe. Their fireballs were a lot worse. Their teleport was worse. They couldn't use a fireball if the fireball was already out. That's something I think this is actually one of the first buffs they received to, like, you know, made it so you can use a fireball if there's already one on the screen. I think that was one of the first things. Stand state was worse, and it's less plus than this currently. Now, if you do like 5D and then like they block and then the stain like goes off, you know, you'd be minus before. Now I believe it's plus enough to the point where you're plus. You know, stain also lasts longer now. Their normals were worse in frame data and in like hitboxes. Like, their far slash wasn't disjointed. Their close slash was -2. You know, their 2K was worse. Oh my gosh, let me think what else. Also, yeah, they are a character that uses dash cancel, especially like when running like some of their corner stuff. The fact that, you know, no dash cancels on the character was terrible, because dash cancels did make this character for sure, or at least help them a lot. It didn't actually, like, you know, make them. Let me think. Anything else that I'm missing? Yeah, I mean, this character was so bad that I think every single normal and move in their kit has been buffed. Like, everything. Like, there's not one thing that has been the same since launch. Like, everything in this character's kit has been drastically changed. You know, low HP already, terrible oh my gosh, terrible defense. But they still have bad defense now. Now they have a good, or not now, they've always had a good backdash, but I mean, just terrible defense. Good 6P as well, good 6P. Yeah, terrible confirms, like, everything just bad. Arbiter didn't go full screen. And actually talking about Arbiter was more minus as well. I think Arbiter was, okay, Arbiter now is minus, oh gosh, I don't want to be wrong. I believe it's -12, right? 12, am I right? It's 12. Now, before, I believe it was like -23, 25, right? -20 is what I'm trying to say. Unusable move. Like, you needed Stain to use it. And even then, it wasn't great because Stain wasn't a plus. So, yeah, Stain pop is better. Obviously, now, Stain now pops off throw, which is really good depending on the situation you're in. So, yeah, no, this character was useless character. Trash character. Trash. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think I'm missing any of the DLCs. Again, some things can kind of be moved a bit, but this is how I'm feeling. I think maybe Abba could go up, like maybe, but I'll hold off for now. I think this is fine. If there's a character on here that you plan on release heavily and you disagree or you agree, or, you know, you want to give some insight or say your opinion, then put it in the comment section and, you know, get a discussion going. So, you know, anyways, that's it for me. I've been recording long enough. I don't want to make it too long. Thank you everyone for watching. God bless. Until next time.